see me okay, just give me an okay and let me know that I'm coming through okay. So here's what I want to do real quick. It's my last day in Atlanta. I fly home today. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out to our event the other day. It was really cool. It was great to see you, and we had a great time. You can see some of the reviews on the YouTube channel if you think you may want to come to one of our future events. We have financial Juneteenth investment summits all across the world, London, Chicago, LA. We're going to go to New York, stuff like that. And so if you want to check it out, feel free. And you can see, just go to my YouTube channel, drboycetv.com. There are reviews right there. Most of the students, everybody actually loves it. There's not one person who's complained. And also, if someone wasn't happy, we'd give them their money back. So I'm going to go through something that I think will help a lot of you. Good morning, and also good morning, everybody on the Black Financial Channel. TheBlackFinancialChannel.com is where we do Black daily financial news because we need a Black financial channel for Black people. And so here's the deal. So let me go ahead and let you know what was on my mind this morning when I woke up. I was thinking about this list that I saw on why people some reasons why people are broke. And I like the list. I didn't make the list, but I agree with the list, and so I thought I'd go through the list and kind of give you guys kind of some insights on some of the parameters of the list. So without further ado, what I'll do is I'll start going through the list right now. They said number one, they set no goals. Some reasons why people are broke. One, they set no goals. Most people I know who have money but seem to always run out of money, meaning people who have income. I'm not talking about people who have income. Now, if you have zero income, then it's hard to work with that. But if you have some kind of income, goal setting is really important because goal setting is basically a process where you're becoming an investor. You're sacrificing the present so you can have more in the future. People who don't set goals don't tend to become investors because only goal setters are able to see the future. Those who have no goals are just living in the present. Those who live in the present don't tend to grow. Animals are like that. Animals don't have any goals. Animals don't think about the future. Animals do not see the past. Animals only see the here and now. So what I want to encourage you to do is not think like an animal. Actually, one of the things that I've read scientifically is that lots of media that Black people are known to consume. We consume more media than other people. It reduces the strength of the part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is what I think, from what I understand, is the key to logical thinking, long-term thinking, planning, and goal setting. So when you're consuming entertainment and a lot of your entertainment is garbage and you're listening to the Migos every day and it's just kind of this brainless mush that you're sucking into your brain, then you're not going to be a goal setter. You're not going to be able to think logically. You're going to literally, your IQ will drop. So you have to set goals if you want to reach goals. Success does not happen by accident. Do me a favor, please shout out your city. Feel free to shout out your city. Also hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe, all that stuff that helps us with the algorithm, helps us get more people in there into the conversation. So shout out what city you're from. I'd like to know what cities you're from. The second thing, number two, the entire list is on my Instagram, which is the real Boyce Watkins. Two, they blame others. Most people are trained to blame other people for their failings. That's what they call self-attribution bias. The psychologists basically point this out. It's like a basketball team. Pay attention to how your friends talk about their favorite basketball team. If the team wins, they say, we won, we won, we won. If the team loses, they say they lost. Right. So what happens is we tend to attribute the good things in our lives to ourselves, and we attribute the bad things to other people. So for us as Black people, we're extraordinarily brainwashed in this line of thinking because we end up sort of saying, okay, it's always the fault of white supremacy. It's always somebody else's fault. It's my mom's fault, my dad's fault. It's all my cousins. It's the white man. It's the Democrat. It's the Republican Party. Right. Like the reason that Black people don't have any wealth is because Republicans won't pass policies that'll blah 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 blah. When really, actually, politically, historically, even Democratic run districts actually be run down like crazy. It's insane. If you go to a lot of Democratic Party run districts, there's no wealth being built. And a lot of times it's because they've basically brainwashed you into waiting for government policy to fix your community. The government's not going to fix your community. White people are not going to fix the Black community. Only Black people are going to do that. And we have to decide what we want to do. Let's see. Four, they abuse credit. Well, sorry, three is they make excuses. Most people I know, that don't get what they want out of life, they make a lot of excuses, like, well, I didn't because of this, or I couldn't because of that. Whereas people I know who are very successful are just people who don't accept excuses. Luckily, my dad was like that. When I make an excuse to my father would say, whatever. Well, it sounds like you didn't want it bad enough. Because when people want something bad enough, they find a way to get it. I know a young lady who would always make excuses to me why she couldn't get a book read or why she didn't apply to for something for her her college applications or whatever. But then I noticed that whenever a new iPhone comes out, you always find a way. You always find a solution. When you want to get a pair of Gucci shoes, you find a solution. When you want to go to a Beyonce concert, you find a solution. And so when people make excuses, think about this. Pay attention. Pay attention here. When people make excuses, they're not usually talking about something that couldn't be done. They're talking about something that would have been difficult to do, right? Like, I can make excuses for why I don't climb Mount Everest, but is it impossible to climb Mount Everest? No. People who are determined climb Mount Everest every day. So why would you act like it's impossible to do something just because it's hard? But that's what we do. We don't know. We don't make the distinction between what's difficult and what's impossible. So we just assume that they're one and the same. Four, they abuse credit cards. Credit card debt is a great way to get in trouble. Corporations are very, very good at getting into your pockets. So credit card use, which starts in college for a lot of people, is a very bad thing. Five, they can't build savings. Building savings is one of those things where either you believe you can do it or you believe that you can't. A lot of people, say, I can't save, I can't afford to save, I have no money. But if you go into their budget, you'll probably find stuff that money is spent on a regular basis that they don't really need. Most of us don't need what we spend our money on, and saving is important because you save your money so your money can save you. You have to find a way to save no matter what your income level is. So that means if you're not saving and you're able to go to dinner every blue moon or you're going out to fast food restaurants, I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to shame you or attack you for it. It just means, don't tell me you can't save. Remember, something being difficult and something being impossible is not the same thing. So don't tell me it's impossible for you to save. You can just say it's just really difficult. I don't really want to do it. I don't want to make that sacrifice. That's a better way to empower yourself to know that if you want to make that sacrifice, you could. Six, they don't stick to a budget. Budgeting is very important. That's what it means to be financially woke. Financially woke means being financially conscious. When you're financially conscious, you know where your money's going. If you know where your money's going, then you know where your money went. People who are not conscious, they get robbed, they get exploited. Bad things happen to them. Whether you're talking about financial unconsciousness or just being unconscious, period. If you know what I mean, like Bill Cosby unconsciousness. So basically, at the end of the day, when you're not conscious, bad things happen to you. So keeping a budget allows you to know where your money's going, so you know where your money went. In fact, I also budget my time, so I know where my time went because I don't want to be a person who says, "Where did all the time go?" No, I know exactly where my time went because I've been thinking about all the things I'm trying to do that day because I know time is more important than money. They want to impress others. A big mistake people make. I see it a lot in Atlanta. I've been in ATL for the past few days. There's a lot of people working hard, using money they don't have to impress people who don't matter, right? So ultimately, they buy things they don't need to impress these people who don't matter, and then they're using money they don't have, so they go deep in debt, trying to buy a bunch of crazy stuff that will impress people that don't even give a shit about them, which is very strange to me. Tell me if you've ever seen that. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever seen that, like bougie, places like it's so funny. And I'm gonna tell you, I go out of my way to make sure I just don't. I'm not trying to impress nobody with nothing. I've made some money, but y'all ain't never really gonna hear much about it. You might hear a little bit, just maybe if you're asking me a question and people want to know if what I'm doing, has worked and whatever. Yeah, I've made money. I've sold 100,000 books or something. I've given, thousands of speeches. I've been on, I've done a lot of things that have made money. I've made a lot of money, but I'm not really out here trying to be flashy. I don't care about that. I like to make money because I like money to not matter. Money matters only because I want it to not matter, right? Because if you have enough money to do what you want, then you don't have to think about money when you want to do it. Whereas if money's always an issue, always a struggle, then you're always going to be just constantly trying to figure out how to get ahead, how to make things work, how to if you can afford this and afford that. And that's why I say it's important to teach your children financial literacy so they can take money out of the equation. Mark Milner says, "Is your Black Business School online?" Yeah, it's online. We do pop-up business schools all around the world, where we'll go for a couple of days and set up, and people can come in. But for the most part, it's online right now. We do that to keep the costs down. Someone asked me yesterday about, why I don't teach at a HBCU. They said, if you really cared about black people, you'd be at an HBCU where you could teach hundreds of students a year and blah, 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 blah. And you so-called elite scholars, you don't care about, And I said, well, yes, thank you. I agree. I could teach hundreds of students a year at an HBCU, but my YouTube channel reaches about 40 million people a year. So I'd rather reach 40 million than to reach like 800. Also, the other thing too is that HBCUs or universities, period, are charging too much. Students are going out, $200,000 in debt or $100,000 in debt, because they got a degree in philosophy and they can't pay the debt back. I'm not trying to be a part of that machine. It's not sustainable and it's not ethical, And so there's a lot of other things that I laid out. I think I said, well, and also at universities, HBCUs are too conservative. White universities are fascist and racist and oppressive. HBCUs are conservative in that they're just scared of anything that's controversial. So a lot of them, just so you know what goes on behind the scenes, a lot of them are scared to have somebody like me on campus. They don't want my message coming to their students through them, right? Because a lot of the things I say don't align with their values. Like everybody must go support the Democratic Party all the time, no matter what. No, I just point to the evidence and say, what has the Democratic Party done to make your neighborhood better? They can't answer that question. But then also, white universities have become fascist in terms of blocking ideas that don't fit their narrative, right? So if you don't align with them politically, then they literally will shut you down and keep you quiet, kind of do an Adolf Hitler on you. It's very crazy how they operate. Now, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, please hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. That's very important. Also, if you want to take a look at the Black Business School, you can actually go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com, and you can just talk to one of our enrollment specialists, and they'll answer your questions right there. It's totally free to get started, by the way. It doesn't cost you a penny to begin. But if you sign up for a program, we'll try. The cost of of college is in the tens of or hundreds of thousands, whereas we have real college professors, and it'll cost you less than the cost of a Popeye's chicken sandwich on a daily basis to learn from us. The difference is unlike a chicken sandwich, it'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Let's see next. 8, they make impulse purchases. Most spending is designed to be unconscious, which is how they exploit you. So unconscious spending is something you got to watch out for. I'm going to bring into the Black Business School Dr. Tommy Whitler, who is one of the leading experts in the world in consumer behavior. Why consumers spend. He's a psychologist. He has a PhD, a real PhD from Purdue University in psychology, and he can explain how corporations unconsciously get you to spend your money with their company. And so he's very important to help us understand how to keep black dollars in black communities. So I look forward to having Dr. Whitler, and I'm going to meet with him for lunch on Tuesday and bring him by to have him come and give a lecture in the school. So join theblackbusinessschool.com. Just do the free membership, and you'll get a chance to come in to the private conversations with Dr. Whitler. Let's see here. They don't know how to invest. When they look at the gap in wealth between upper class people and middle class people, they find that investing in the stock market actually is the number one divider between the wealthy and the middle class. Home ownership is the divider between the middle class and the poor. Also, thinking like an investor, all that means is that you're sacrificing something today so you can have more tomorrow. So if you don't invest, then you can't win. There's no way. Think about this. Ask me yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. If I plant no seeds, can I get a harvest? Yes or no? Answer me yes or no. Can I get a harvest if I plant no seeds? Yes or no? If I do not sacrifice seeds, will I ever get a harvest? And Nam says no. Okay. This basic idea. I like to keep things simple so that we can make it all make sense. Then we can go to the more complex ideas later. No, you can't. You can't. You cannot. It's not possible to get a harvest if you plant no seeds. So why would you expect to have no wealth when you made no investments? Think about this. When you look around and you see wealthy people, chances are somebody made an investment for them to become wealthy. Somebody had to plant a seed for them to get the harvest. So, I know that there are lots of conspiracy theories on how wealthy people got wealthy. No, but the guy who lives down the block from you, who has $2 million in his trust fund, somebody planted a seed for that. Somebody did. Somebody prepared him for life. Okay. Or maybe he did it himself. right? But if you make no sacrifices, you will get no rewards. I went through that in college. I was around a lot of lazy students. I mean, I was really mad because I wanted, I was very ambitious as a college student. I had the highest grade point average on my entire campus among the black students. And I was better than pretty much all the white students. I was the number one finance student in college. And I would try to get other black people to go with me, to be at the library with me, study hard with me. And I had friends that were like on the football team and stuff like that, and they just wouldn't. They just didn't want to study. And I was like, how do you expect that we're going to be successful in the future if your dumbass won't even pick up a book? It doesn't make any sense to me. You don't even want to read a book, and you think that we're gonna. Well, I'm gonna get to the NFL. You're at the University of Kentucky, you idiot. Like, what makes you think that you're that playing at the University of Kentucky is the direct pathway to the NFL? Like, there are players at University of Alabama who won't make it to the NFL, and Alabama beat y'all 145 to nothing. Like you really think that you're going to the NFL? Who put that in your head? So, it's crazy to me. I just think there's a lot of ignorance in our community that we have to squash out and fix, because a lot of our people are going down the drain. A lot of these, I mean, a lot of these dudes now are in the struggle. Like, oh man, well, you lucky, doc. You got it good. No, I'm not lucky. I knew you 25 years ago, and I told you this was going to happen, but for some reason you don't want to listen. I don't understand that. I didn't get it then. I don't get it now. So let me keep going. 10, they have poor spending habits. Yeah, poor spending habits is huge. That's how black dollars leave the black community. For example, the three of the biggest phenomena I've seen on the internet in terms of people getting excited about a corporate product was Patty's Pies, where that guy with that overweight, obese guy who's probably an inch away from diabetes and death was dancing over a Patty's Pie, and the video got 8 million views. Next thing you know, Walmart's making millions of dollars selling Patty's Pies. The other one was the Black Panther came out. Disney puts out this movie. They use all kinds of cultural coding to get us excited about it, like almost like it's our movie, but it's really their movie because their shareholders are the ones who got the money. You didn't get anything. You got a movie ticket. They got money. And That was another one. Another one was Popeye's Chicken, with people climbing through windows and cooning out, doing like literally slavery imitations over like a chicken sandwich. And Now here's what's fascinating, right? A lot of this, every one of these companies, Patty's Pies owned by Walmart, um, Black Panther owned by Disney, Popeye's Chicken owned by a company. I got to look up the name, a Canadian company that's a holding company. They hold lots of restaurant chains. Um, this is money flowing out of your community. So when you're spending money and you're not thinking about where your money's going, you're doing unconscious spending with white corporate brands that know how to use coded racial language to get your attention. You're literally causing your community to be poor. You're creating and perpetuating your own poverty. Maybe you didn't create your own poverty, but you're perpetuating it because again, if you have money and you give it all away, then you won't have any money. So the 1.3 trillion that black people have per year, it gives us a GDP higher than Mexico. If we reinvest that money and circulate those black dollars, you will see a lot of prosperity occurring in the black community almost overnight. But because you get excited about turning black dollars into white dollars, then you fail. Even black businesses that sell products to black consumers. I've had people ask me this. They say, is it okay to just sell a product just to black people, or do I have to sell to everybody? Well, I tell them it's okay to sell to everybody, but don't think that you're failing just because you're not selling to everybody. Because sometimes you might go out and get white dollars. That's fine. But then sometimes you're taking black dollars that were going to become white dollars, and you're keeping them as black dollars. So, for example, in the Black Business School, what we say to people is we say, look, we know you want to go to the University of Nebraska and go $80,000 in debt to get a college degree from a bunch of white professors who know less than we do, who care less about you than we do, who don't know anything about the black experience, and who are not going to teach you how to start a business. But we say, hey, instead of spending $100,000 with them, come spend about $5,000 with us, and we will give you a better education. We care about you, and your dollars will recycle in the black community because that wealth is being used to hire and to employ and to support black people and to put do projects in the black neighborhoods and to change the lives of other black people, the ones who can't afford to attend the school, right? So ultimately, we most of our audience that follows us, is very black. You not just black, but very black. Like being regular black it may be too much for you. You may be too caught up in the old way of doing things. But when you have a strong black identity, you kind of get what we're doing. And what we do is we just help redirect those black dollars and keep them black, as opposed to letting those black dollars go and become white dollars. Because a lot of them, probably $1 trillion in black wealth it has been given to white universities that leave black students in debt. Half of all black college graduates will never repay their student loan debt. And there's nothing more depressing than to be in debt for the rest of your life because you bought a $200,000 degree in philosophy. Like, that's a horrible feeling. And no one's going to warn you about that except people like us, because I'm like, well, no, don't do that. Like, that's not going to make you happy. That's not. Ask older people. That you're not winning. Here's another way you can be winning, and we're going to find examples of people who are winning, who can show you a better pathway in order to get there. Okay, so the next the next topic. Let me see here. The next question. 11, they don't invest in themselves. So the desire and the ability to invest in things like education is extremely important. When you don't invest in yourself, then what is happening is your human capital has no value. So ultimately, you must invest in yourself if you're going to see yourself gain the potential to earn money or the potential to get ahead. If you don't, so investments in yourself might be through education, it might be through special training. I'm a big believer in online education. I find that online education is better than college education nowadays because you got thousands and thousands of experts and professors like me who will teach you things that universities don't teach you because universities run an old business model. Also, it's much cheaper. Like, you can take $200 classes that will literally change your life. Whereas in college, everything's thousands of dollars, and it's kind of insane. Um, let's see here. 12. Their finances are not organized. Yeah, when your finances are sloppy, your economic life's going to be sloppy. So, things like keeping a budget or keeping some sort of structure are really important. 13. They spend more than they make. You should never do that. You'll be running a deficit. Actually, Julian Gordon, who teaches in the Black Business School, he's a Stanford University graduate. He made a good point the other day. He said, most of you don't have any income. Most people watching you guys don't have income. And I said, what do you mean they don't have income? That's an interesting way to see it. He said, well, if you look at a company, their income is defined as their revenue minus their expenses. He said most people spend all their money until they have no money left. So they have no income. They just have revenue, right? Tell me yes or no. Tell me if you get that. Tell me if you get that. When a corporation lays out its net income, its income, that's revenue minus expenses and what's left over. So a lot of y'all in here, I'm not dissing, I'm just saying yes or no. Tell me if you get this. A lot of y'all in here have no income. A lot of you have no income, right? So so one step to getting ahead is to have some income. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. It's very important. Let's see here. They own a car they can't afford. Black people we lead the country in new car consumption. So that's kind of a bad habit that we want to get out of. A new car is a horrible waste of money. Doesn't mean you don't get a car. Doesn't mean you don't get what you like, but you have to make sure you handle your business first. What I encourage people to do is what I call a matching program, where you look at all the things you like, things you waste money on, and just make sure you're investing the same amount that you're wasting. Same thing. Um, let's see here. Let me dig in. 15, they own a home they can't afford. So home ownership is, if you own a home, though, I personally believe you're doing better than people who don't own a home. Now, I think owning a home or renting an apartment that you can't afford, renting, generally speaking, is not something you want to get in the habit of doing for the rest of your life. At the very least, you want to have things going on that will give you a tax write-off and will give you equity ownership. Those are the two things you want to look for. But then the dangers of owning a house you can't afford is that you end up being very cash poor, and you're always sort of on this brink of possibly defaulting, where they're going to come back and take a big chunk of your equity that you picked up. So it actually gets to the point where banks actually want you to default because they want to take the house back. So you got to be really careful about that. So these are 15 reasons why people stay broke, and those are my thoughts. In case you want to know where this comes from, my PhD is in finance. I taught at Syracuse University for 15 years, or 13 years, sorry. I've taught in China, I've taught in Europe, I've taught all around the world. So I know what I'm talking about. And this is something that I hope will help you in your journey and help you in terms of making decisions that will make your life better. Two things I will offer you right now for free. One is if you want to learn to buy your first share of stock for free, go sign up at blackmoney100.com. That's blackmoney100.com. There's a free training video there that's been watched by over 1 million people. We've trained over 1 million people on how to buy their first share of stock. That's very powerful. That's very impactful. Again, when the guy was saying, "Oh, you should be at an HBCU where you can teach 800 students a year," I was like, "Bro, we've taught 1 million black people how to buy their first share of stock. That's pretty good. Like, that's far greater than what I could ever do at a university. Universities don't let people have that much flexibility to reach the masses. So go watch this video. You're gonna love it. It's very short, and by the time it's done, you will be an investor. Do that, because then you can go subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com, and I will talk on a daily basis about what's going on in the stock markets, give you my analysis, give you my take on big things that are happening, and then you can sort of follow along and you will become an investor. Okay, so go to blackmoney100.com to learn to buy your first share of stock. Then also go to theblackbusinessschool.com, theblackbusinessschool.com. We have 80,000 students. It's for black people now, but if you're not black, you can join if you want to. Just know black people control the narrative. Black wealth is what we care about. So we want to solve one problem, and that's the black wealth problem. We care nothing about any other problems for any other communities, because we believe in putting black people first. So I want to make sure that's 100% clear. But if you want to come in where black power is the agenda, then come on in. Feel free. Just the same way as a black man, I'm allowed to go to Notre Dame, or where Catholicism and whiteness are the agenda, or I can go to Yale University, where protecting, the interests of Yale and its benefactors is the interest. Then you can come to the Black Business School, where we've got our own major, we've got our own boards of and individuals that control that narrative. So feel free to join. You can get started for free. There is an enrollment specialist waiting for you right now that can talk to you about your goals and help you work through and decide how you want to move forward. It's a great place to go, either as a replacement for college for your kids, or as a supplement. So let's say that you're like, I don't know if I want to go spend $200,000 for my child to get a degree in philosophy. Well, you may, if you convince them that they want to actually make money and they want to know how to own property, they want to learn how to have a business, they want to learn how to make an investment, they want to learn how to buy a franchise, then send them over to the Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com, and they can learn more from us for free than they would learn in 4 years of expensive college. So the enrollment specialist can talk to you. Also, the other thing too is that even if you go to college, the Black Business School is a great supplement, because let's say that I have a degree, I study political science, or I study, social work, or I get a license in nursing. Well, there may come a point where I need a second stream of income. We're experts at that. There may come a time where I hate my job and I want to quit because the racism is driving me crazy. Well, we're good at helping you quit your job and leave the corporate plantation. Like, that's what we specialize in, because what we did was we isolated and identified all the problems that black people experience in the labor market, the black unemployment problem, the racism at work problem, microaggressions and all that, the wealth problem, the income insecurity problem. And we said, here's solution 1, solution 2, solution 3, 4, 5. Universities are not doing this. I'm just telling you, they're not doing this. White universities don't care. Black universities are too conservative and too caught up in sending your child to go work for a white corporation. But that's okay. There's a reason for that. They're funded by the government. The government funds them, and so there's certain things they cannot do. They're not allowed to do these things. We have freedom and flexibility, but we also have credentials and PhDs and law degrees and MBAs and all the degrees that your professors have. We have all that. The only thing we have that most of them don't have is we have experience. Most college professors have never run a business. Go look it up. So ultimately, if you want to learn how to run a business, learn from people who know business. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. It's logical. I hope it makes sense to you. So I hope you guys have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe before you go. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.